Hey guys, what is up? We're back with another week of the glorious Katekyo Hitman REBORN chapter reviews, and we are at chapter 139. Just a refresh from 138. Now Suna is in the future with no ways of getting back because he was searching for Reborn. He did end up meeting 10 years future Gokudera, who was telling him, hey, you're here, thinking he's going to go back to the current time or the past, and he's telling him, one, you need to defeat two people when you get back home. Shoichi Are, who first made his appearance in the daily life arc and was being tortured and traumatized by Suna's family, aka Lambo and even Gokudera, and he got no breaks. And now he is the main reason why Suna is in so much trouble in the future. And another named Byakuran. Keep that in mind. And also they did mention him again in this chapter. So with that being said, Suna wanted to ask 10 years future Gokudera, hey, can you humor me and tell me why I'm in a casket? And before he can actually answer, we got back our present day Gokudera. Now while these two are there and they realize, hey, it's not only Suna that's stuck, but also Gokudera that's stuck as well, they go trying to find their way out of this forest because they don't know exactly where they are. Then this is when they bucked up into Lao Merch, who, she wanted to test their abilities. Of course, she has heard stories about them from many years ago and all that stuff and how they were strong. Because remember, Suna from the Kyokyo arc to the Varya arc displayed, quite the growth. But in this current timeline, this future is a little different because now they use these little boxes that can attack you. So strategy wise and power wise, they are stronger in the future. So she tells them, hey, so we don't get caught, because there are things and people that are looking for us, so looking to destroy us. You guys gotta follow me. But before you do that, you gotta wrap up the rings with Mamon's chain so we don't get detected. So reluctantly, they start following Lao Merch through the forest. And so now with chapter 138, while they're following her, of course, Gokudera is just like, he doesn't like her. And it's understandable because she started attacking them. Like, again, you're somewhere you don't know. You're in a foreign place. You don't know any way of getting back home. And then some random individual spots you, claims they're going to help you, but at the same time attacks you, putting you on the defense. I would also be reluctant in calling her all types of names under the sun, because it's just like, if you're going to help somebody, please don't go attacking them to see how far or how good they are. Like, please don't do that. If I'm asking questions, please tell me, because again, I'm in a very scary situation, and I would very much like to be comforted while I'm in the know, like while I don't know what's going on. So she's walking them through the forest and everything, and then she's telling them that they need to camp out here for the night. But before she does that, she has another box that she uses that's basically like a tracker and sensor, so if anything or any enemy comes around, she'll be immediately notified. So then she's like, while we camp out here for tonight, y'all go get your own food, I'm gonna go get my own food. Again, Gokudera is just like, why should we listen to you or anything? He wants answers, understandably so, but she's really not giving them much to go with, which I can understand if when people is reading this or watching the anime version of this, they don't like Lao Merch in the beginning because she came off too abrasive towards very scared individuals in a very scary situation. Okay, no one wants to wake up in a casket. That's like one of many horrors for people to be trapped in an enclosed space and then wake up somewhere you have no knowledge of. Okay, so she's not giving them much to go with. So, him and Suna are talking and everything, and then, Gokudera is just like, he's apologizing to Suna because he's like, I could have done so much more for you, but we're stuck with this woman, and we'll find out our answers once we get back to base and find a way to get back home immediately. And they're discussing about like he doesn't really trust her when she says that Reborn has passed away. And this is something to note. This goes into Suna's character, but like Suna, because of his hyper intuition, right, that does lead into the dying will and all that stuff. Suna is able to sense, this is his version of Spidey sense, if you will, but it probably goes a little further than that. But Suna in his heart of hearts, so you can also say due to his bond with Reborn after everything, he just has, even though, again, despite the situation and despite being told what it is, while one part of him is justifiably scared, there's also a part of him that's like, I can't truly believe what you said, because something is telling me that Reborn isn't really gone, but I can't be too sure until, you know, we get to the base and we get more answers than we're currently getting right now. So both of them decide after, you know, talking, let's go and try to find some food. So they split up. So while Gokudera is going one way to go find food, Suna is going to go get some food himself. Mind you, this is Tsunayoshi Sawada, no good Suna, Dame Suna, no offense, my son will ever be my son, but Suna's not good at a lot of things, and most definitely he's not good at finding food in a forest. So in the good old Suna's fashion, he ends up tripping and then he ends up swallowing something that he tripped on. Okay, you don't see the effects until like after, when we see Gokudera is looking for food and then he stumbles upon like a pond, well, it wouldn't even be a pond, it's a lake. This is where he sees where Lao Merch is taking a bath, and while he sees her, he's just like, oh my god, naked woman, oh my god. He sees that she's crying and she's kissing her rings. Now if you go back to 137, she did state that like in this time the Archibeleno babies cease to exist, meaning Colonella or something. So more than likely, because she was also an Archibeleno, she did have a strong relationship with the other ones, and so she's more likely crying due to the fact that her fellow comrades had fallen, right? So fast forward, Gokudera seeing that, and then all he hears is Suna coming like, Gokudera, I don't feel so good. My boy ate some shrooms. He ate wild mushrooms and he's hallucinating. You can see this boy is off the deep end, and they come crashing into the lake. They see her in all her glory, and it's just like typical 2000s manga when they do that. Of course, I ain't gonna show the panels for censorship reasons, but yeah, if you want to see it, go read chapter 138 for yourself. But eventually now they're by a campfire drying off and everything, eating some fish and everything, and this is where they start asking Lao Merch, you know, some questions in regards to this. So she while they're sitting down and eating, she's like, yo, I got time to tell you guys things. So she does tell them, and mind you, Lao Merch did make an appearance, but this is her actual grown self appearance. She did appear in the Varya arc. You saw her as an Archibeleno, right? If you don't remember, go back to, I believe it was chapters, it was in the 100s. It was in the 100s. She was there. So when they went to, it was Imitsu's team that went underground to find the secrets about the Golomoskas, and basically that led to finding out about Zanzis and the Varya's plans in regards to the ninth and overall getting the rings. So she was there with one of Imitsu's I guess his subordinates as well. So that's what they were doing. So you saw her as a baby, and now you see her in her actual adult self. Just so you know, they are cursed. The babies are cursed. So this is how she technically looks like, but she stated in chapter 137 or 138, she wasn't fully cursed compared to the others. So that's why she's able to appear the way that she is now. So she said, you know, she works for the CDF or SEDFs, and she says right now, currently, as she's working with them, so they're part of the Vongola, she's staying currently within the entirety of the organization. They are in the state of emergency because 2 days prior, the entire organization has been wiped out and they can't really find anybody. Like the main place was destroyed, right? Vongola is like in dire need, and this leads to Gokodera being in disbelief because it's just like, how can such a mighty organization, because Vongola is the top of like mafia families, how could they have fallen? In which she says, probably during your time, yeah, there is no dispute for that, but right now, because of Shoichi Aide and this family by the name of the Millefort family, and the head of the Millefort family is Byakuran, they attack the Vongola organization, leading to this disaster that's currently on right now. And this leads to Suna realizing, okay, this is the second time this name was mentioned. Future Gokodera mentioned his name, and now you're mentioning his name. That means the things I've heard currently, both from Future Gokodera and from you, must be true. If the destruction of Vongola, Byakuran is behind all of this, and me being in a casket, and that means Reborn must be gone. Now realization is starting to get there for him, and he is scared because it's just like, okay, we're in a time where it's just like, okay, so the Vongola has fallen. They're no longer the stronghold. The stronghold now is the Millefort. And this is where Lao Merch is saying that, like, compared to your time, in order to dominate the war of this time, you need the rings. And this is where the power system truly shines, because prior to this, we know of the dying will flames and everything, and we did see where the flames or the rings given to the guardians kind of shone their little flames and everything. That's why they're so important currently at this time point, because they are purposely using these rings to target anybody from the Vongola. And not only that, where I mentioned about the Golomoska, right? As she's speaking, she realizes, not only that, probably to interject, with the rings, they don't really understand like why they're so strong and why they're so needed. Like, the power of the rings go way past, it's basically during the time of like probably the first generation of the Vongola. So in terms of the powers of the rings, is something that they have not really capitalized on. They haven't really gotten the true essence of these rings, but the rings are special. So that's exactly why they're being hunted. And before she can even talk even more, she realizes that the balloon that she sent up to, survey the area to make sure no enemies is coming, she realizes like one of the strings on the balloon is frying. And then she's like, you know what? Yo, we gotta dip, took out the fire and everything, we gotta go. While they're trying to go, and mind you, all of this is happening at nighttime, so it's plenty of dark. While they're trying to find a way to get as fast as they can to the hideout, they see a new and improved version of the Golomoska, which they call the Stromoska. And how they came about this new improved version, they say like somehow the military was able to get their hands on the blueprints and everything, and then resell it back on the black market to various mafia families. You see how it works? The military found it. And I mean, originally this was a military project from Italy many years ago. So it's just like, it went back to its rightful place. But then again, now it's being sold at a large distribution in the black market for any mafia family that wants. And obviously, if this Golomoska is out, or the Stromoska is out, that means it's the Millefort that's looking for anybody. They obviously send it out to search for anybody that has a ring and the flame that's in the ring. So then it locks in on its target. and it starts walking, and they realize, why is it walking towards us? It shouldn't be able to, since we have the chains. Comes to find out, even though all the chains are wrapped, Suna, since the Kyoko arc, has had Lancia's ring. He never lost it. That wasn't chained up, and that's what it's targeting. And just before it can hit them, and mind you, they dealt with a Golem Mosca. Suna has dealt with a Golem Mosca. He destroyed it, even though he was frightened by the fact that like the ninth was inside there, but that's due to Zanzis, and that's his fault, putting his foster father inside the Golem Mosca to teach him a lesson and everything. Lao Merch is saying that there's no way possible for us to defeat this Golem Mosca. Again, this felt like, what was those things in X-Men? This is how it was feeling like. These were the X-Men, and then you had the I can't remember, but those machines that purposely targets X-Men and anyone that has the X gene within them to exterminate them. That's how this moment was technically feeling like. And so it was targeting those who had a ring that wasn't shrouded and protected, and then eliminates them. And just before this Golem Mosca can actually attack, it gets chopped in the head and then sliced. And then the chapter ends where we see our homeboy, the left hand of the Vongola, 10-year Yamamoto Takashi. Okay, and he looks so clean. Okay, he came to rescue all of them. Mind you, again, our boy, he is that GOAT. Mind you, this is no longer a game for him anymore. This is real life. This is real life. He came to save the day. But this tells you how serious and jarring the future is, because you're thinking, okay, Suna won for sure. As you come to find out, the 10-year arc basically told us Suna is to become the Vongola 10th eventually. This is following their current timeline, right? 10 years into the future, this makes what, Suna anywhere between the ages of what, 23 to 25? So he's probably 24 at this time period. Suna dies in his mid-20s. And then the rest of the Vongola has fallen. And they're trying to gather as much of them who still remains in order to defeat this huge threat, which is the Milford family, with their boss, Byakugan. Byakugan is nothing more than a threat. And then on top of that, again, Shoichi Aire, who originally he was just here for the jokes, and you would have thought he was one-off. But there was a particular reason. I don't even know if Akira Amano really thought that far ahead, given the fact that like the first 61 chapters were nothing more than daily life arc. So it's nothing more than school and shenanigans and, you know, just overall goofiness and gag material. So I don't know if she was thinking that far ahead in regards to the fact that you'll use a character that was just shown once or twice during the first portion of the series, and then brought him back now as a villain for a later arc, for a later installment of the story, which is insane. You would not have thought that if you were just beginning this series. If I was to tell you that this person from early on was to be a huge threat later in the story, you would have never believed me. And the first time I read this, I'm gonna be real with you, I did not think Shoichi Aire was gonna be that. I thought he was just a one-off character, and that was it. That was it. But nonetheless, this goes to show the future is scary when you're part of an organization that is not so nice. Not so nice. But this goes to show, for anybody that doubts, Suna does become the 10th eventually. He does. He has no other choice. He has literally no other choice. He becomes the 10th and he solidified in his position. Hence why he had to go through all of this stuff prior. Okay, so if you guys managed to read chapter 139 of Katekyo Hitman REBORN, or if you watched the anime episode equivalent of this chapter, do tell me how you felt in the comment section. Also, if you are someone who already read this series, as I always state, no spoilers for those who are just beginning reading and or watching. I want them to experience the whole thing for the very first time without anybody really telling of it. And for anybody that wants to know where to pick off from the anime, if they manage to watch the entire anime but wants to start reading the manga, the anime, the last chapter it adapted was 282. Now you're going into the inheritance ceremony arc. The last two arcs are inheritance ceremony and Archipelago, also known as the rainbow arc. So if you are watching the anime and you want to start reading the manga after completing all 203 episodes, I believe, or 201 episodes, chapter 282, from there to chapter 409, you're good. The links are in the description box, so you guys go and check that out. And I'm Kimmy-chan, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.